Gemini. Welcome, Gemini. Shukalan. I'm Medicine, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this reading where we are here to divine the nature of what will become, what will manifest during the lunar cycle um, happening between June 2nd, June 3rd, I always get it wrong, and July 2nd, June 2nd and July, June 3rd and July 2nd, June 2nd, June 3rd, and July 2nd. I swear, I think I might have dyslexia. Everything is always opposite for me. But on the real, we're here to see what is happening for you during that time as far as the lunar cycle is concerned. And speaking of lunar cycles, I have an announcement to make. So the new moon is going to be in your sign at this time, which is bringing great emotional awareness to yourself, your identity, what's inside of you, and how what is inside of you will work to instinctively and intuitively conquer the world around you. We look at, the moon in this placement is very instinctively active for you and intuitively active for you. You become the intuition. You become, your gut instincts become you. You become them. This is a really good time to really focus on who you are and and how that self is projected in the world, how you identify yourself as. This is really good time for you to be born again emotionally. Um, and if I dare say so myself, also on a conscious level as well, because during this period, uh, the sun will also be your in your first house as well. Um, won't be the entire duration, but the energy is certainly amplified here all the same. It might be a really good time for you on an emotional level during this new moon. It might be a really great time for you to become more aware of the forces that are working against you, to be able to illuminate who you are, to bring your identity, to bring your sense of self into the light, um, and to activate that new form of consciousness, and to activate that new creation that is yourself. This is the new moon talks about in a time of emotional rebirth, and a renewed zest for life. So it could be a really great time for you to connect with nature and connect with who you are in nature. And it could be a really great time for you to go out and do something adventurous. It could be a really good time for you to, it can be a really good time for you to do something that can rejuvenate you, re-energize you, new vitality, do something that gives you a sense of new purpose. Maybe do something like go take a vacation, go do something fun for yourself and spontaneous and adventurous for yourself, that might help you to sort of celebrate, if you will, the victory of you being in the world once again, transformed and reborn into the world once again. Happy birthday to those Geminis who are born this time of the spring born this time during between June 2nd to around June 21st, June 22nd. Born during this time. Happy birthday to you. This is your time of rebirth, and I am proud to walk this journey with you. So let's see what's going on within the stars and the cards. Okay, all right. Spirit wants me to show this in reverse. So Five of Wands, um, which ultimately speaks about which ultimately speaks about challenges that are out there and an inability to be able to listen to one's instincts. So this is just where the energy is now for you. Understand, because it's a minor arcana, so it's something that's going on in the everyday world, and it's ultimately speaking to where the energy is aligning you up, aligning you for based on where you are now, based on where your energies are now. Of course, anything can shift, anything can change. But that being said, um, the Five of Wands in reverse can definitely point to someone who's kind of a sore loser, or mainly someone who's afraid of change and unable to focus on their instincts, unable to focus on their intuition and allow their intuition to guide them. In some ways, this card could be pertaining to someone who is way too caught up in the mind that they don't allow their instincts to take over. They don't allow their instincts to take the wheel because they're too caught up in the mind. They're too caught up in thought. They're too caught up in what's logical. They're too caught up in what's reasonable. They're too caught up in thinking about things before they do them without giving themselves the permission to actually do them. So this card is talking about an inaction. It's talking about an inaction due to the fact that um, one may be too caught up within their mind. For example, I'm moving the camera around a little bit, so you have to forgive me because I'm trying to make sure, I'm trying to see if I can get a little bit more light in here. Okay, so anyhow, and I'll also just put it a little bit closer to you so you can see what I'm talking about as well. But you see all this chaos and all this going on around, that pertains to instinct. When there's a lot of stuff going on around, uh, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the very best time for you to think about things before you do them. Chances are you're going to have to act. It's going to be like a fight or flight response. It's just going to be react. It's just going to be natural reaction. You're just going to have to get into it. You just got to get into the fray, and you're going to have to make, and you're just going to have to believe in yourself, believe in your path, and make things happen. Because at this time, there's a path that you're on. There's a consciousness that you're on. But with the Five of Wands in reverse, it definitely brings up a concern that maybe you don't necessarily believe in yourself. You don't necessarily believe in your own abilities. You don't necessarily believe in your instincts and your soul. You don't believe in yourself, your own divine purpose. And that might be keeping you away from being able to see, um, to move about the world as you need to. The Ten of Swords is talking about, in reverse, once again talking about an inability to be able to let go of certain traditions, certain ways of being, certain thoughts that have happened before, certain things that have kept you safe, thought forms and belief systems that have kept you safe. They've got you stuck. They're stagnant. So your energy is stagnant because your mind is stagnant at this time. You're not giving yourself permission to break free. You're not giving yourself permission to break through. Um, then you have the Five of Swords. Interestingly enough, there is this part of you that has the vision, and you're definitely being faced with this card, even in upright position. You are certainly being faced with a lot of obstacles with this card. There's a lot of obstacles that you're being faced with. Perhaps a lot of people that are trying to talk you against doing something. And the fact that you have this card, that you have the Ten of Swords in reverse, tells me that 9 times out of 10 you're believing them. You're going to end up believing them. You might have the vision here. You might have the vision, you might have the foresight, you may be able to see and sense and feel where you're going. But I think that you're having an issue getting there because you're not giving yourself permission to trust in it. You got it, it's there, but you're not giving yourself permission to trust in it. You're not giving yourself permission to go all the way. You're beginning with, confidence and a cool headedness and what you see, sense, and feel and vision around you. But ultimately speaking, there's this inability to be able to trust in what you see, sense, feel, think, what your visions are enough to be able to free yourself from the thought forms and belief systems that have programmed you to be a certain way. And ultimately, that's keeping you from being able to fly forward into your life anew. Okay? So at this time in your life, it's just going to be very important that you watch out for that, because once again, Gemini, this is a minor arcana, so the energies don't necessarily have to be this way, but they are this way because it's based on where your energies are at now. So if I think to myself, for example, that if I find myself full of worry, well, what if the vision ain't pointing me in the right direction? If I find myself full of questions, if I find myself with doubt uh, beforehand, then once I reach this point, I'm going to have issue with going there, because I'm going to be too caught up in fear and doubt and what if, as opposed to giving myself permission to just do. Because um, the Emperor card shows up. Can't see because you got the glare, so hopefully you can see it like this. But the Emperor card is showing up. And the Emperor card is talking about standing in your own power. It's talking about breaking through the walls of oppression. It's talking about liberating yourself. So there is a need to liberate yourself, and ultimately, you are working to liberate yourself. And then I also have the Seven of Swords that shows up for me. Okay, so yeah, you ultimately are liberating yourself at this time. I'm trying to see if I can show this in the light better so that you can be able to see it. You are ultimately liberating yourself at this time. Okay, I think the light got bended enough to be able to, but you are ultimately liberating yourself. You're ultimately secretively sneaking out of and stealthing your way, if you will, out of situations that no longer serve you. So the cards are calling for you to stealth your way out of thought forms, belief systems that no longer serve you. They're calling for you to be confident in yourself. You have an inner guidance. You have an inner wisdom. You have an inner truth. You have an inner power that is you, and that power is ready to be declared to the physical world. Okay, but it's tapping into this. There is a side of you. There is an inner side of you, an instinctual side of you that has the experience, that has the wisdom, that has the strength, that has the growth, to be able to conquer all obstacles. And so, at this time, we're really looking into your ability to be able to do that, to conquer all these obstacles. But then, one thing that comes up really apparent to me again is I got the Seven of Swords here, just like I got the Five of Swords. Both of these pertain to Aquarius. So, and both of these talk about secrets. They talk about secrets. They talk about an inner knowing, if you will. They talk about a deeper or higher insight, a deeper, higher insight. I say that at the same time on purpose. That you have gained, that is letting you know you no longer need to be oppressed by the thought forms and belief systems of an outdated mode of thought. But then you also have the Five of Wands here in reverse, and it's pointing to the same thing. Kind of, these are crossing, but they're kind of pointing to the same thing. There's an inability. You've got the inner wisdom to be able to know what to do, and you've got the motivation deep down inside of yourself, but doubts and fears are keeping you away from actually being able to manifest that reality. So once again, this can be shifted and changed. Maybe for some of you that are checking this out now, if you are aware of the fact that you do have the ability to conquer all obstacles here. The stars are working for you to be able to conquer all obstacles here. So whatever doubt and fear you've got going on inside of yourself, to trust in your own instincts, to trust in your own intuition, to trust in your own insights, that are being amplified here through these two cards. Whatever's trapping you, whatever's holding you back, whatever's keeping you from being able to free yourself and make that journey and make that change, that's what's causing all of this. Know that you can cleanse those things now. Know that the gift here is that you can clear yourself of those things. You can be confident, confident like the Emperor. You can be confident in the fact that where you're going is where you're going. It's actually where you're going. It's actually what will become and what manifests, so long as you have the confidence, the courage, the bravery to to face down and take out all those who would restrict you and would hold you back from being able to do what you are meant to do. And so long as you're not afraid to get into the fray, okay, because this card is very competitive. You can't be afraid of competition. You can't be afraid of to compete. If the time calls to compete. You know, a lot of us, we don't want to necessarily compete for what we want to do. We just want to be able to do it. I fully, completely understand that. And there's just times where you can't help it. You're going to be competing with other people out there who are striving towards the same thing that you're striving towards. But you need to have confidence enough within yourself to know, like you know, that it's going to manifest and it's going to happen for you anyway. I apologize once again for the light glaring, but I hope that what I am saying is making sense here. Okay, you are worth it. Comes up to be your card as well. I say that as well because it came out for another one of your zodiac pals. You are worth it. Okay. And I like the passage in this card, so I want to read the passage from the book. I like what the book has to say about it because oftentimes we can kind of run off of that too. So the only way you can accept, respect, and cherish others is by accepting, respecting, and cherishing you. Okay? So accept praise and credit where it is due. Okay? You know, the Five of Wands. I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to fight for my right to be in the limelight. I don't want to fight for my right to be able to, be center stage, to this is my world, to I don't want to fight for that right. But what you have to understand is that divine purpose may be calling you to be center stage. Divine purpose may be calling that. And when divine purpose is calling that, especially one of the things that I have had to learn is that divine purpose uh, trumps uh, trumps us. And when I say that is this is so far and above you that it's happening for you anyway. Spirit wants this to happen for you anyhow, but you got to get out of your own way in order to make it happen. So all the fears and doubts and negative thought forms and belief systems you're carrying right now, okay? You don't want to be in the limelight. That might be one of the things that's keeping you from being able to manifest your reality at this time because you don't want to be in the limelight. You have this thing about accepting praise. You have this thing about accepting recognition for who you are and for your work and for being in the spotlight and for everyone seeing you as a golden flame of joy and happiness in their reality. Maybe you don't necessarily want to look like you are ego driven or arrogant, or you don't want to come off like you're narcissistic or something like that. So maybe, it's certain thought forms that keep us away from being able to manifest our reality because our want not to look like something can often be the very thought form or the worry that's keeping us from actually manifesting what it is that we want and need to do for ourselves. But our doubt in ourselves and our inability to be able to accept praise from other people and recognition from other people and love from other people can often keep us from being able to do that because I don't want to come off as some overly confident, boastful, whatever. That thought form in itself could be the very thing keeping you from being able to manifest your own reality right now. And so this card is coming out to let you know that you are worth it. You are worth receiving love and praise from the people around you. You are worth people. You are worth people coming up to you and telling you how amazing you are. You are worth people coming up to you and telling you how brilliant you are. You are worth knowing that you are amazing and brilliant because you are amazing and brilliant. And there's nothing wrong with you receiving praise and thanks for your amazing, brilliant self. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not an arrogance thing. Because when we follow what's in our heart, when we follow what's being called upon us, We know that this is something that is divinely purposed. And since you are the embodiment of that divine purpose, this is also something that is you. Your ego, it is a divine ego. It is not just an ego, right? It's not just egotistical or conceited or whatever the case might be. Hear me what I'm saying. Spirit created you in in all of its glory, in all of its light, in all of its divine purpose. And you may be stagnating or keeping yourself away, uh, keeping that purpose away from being realized by living in fear of not wanting to come off a certain way. Sometimes when we worry too much about how we're going to come off or how people are going to see us or what people are going to think about us, that can be something that keeps us away from breaking free from the insecurities and stagnations and things of others. Because the reality about it is that for those of us who want to, I'm just gonna go ghetto here, but those of us who want to hate on others for doing them, okay, those of us who want to hate on others for doing them, mainly that's because they have their own insecurities and their own confidence issues and their own severed, inflicted, poisoned relationship to Great Spirit. Great Spirit who manifested every single person in this world to be a certain way for a divine purpose. You have a divine purpose that is all to yourself that needs to be recognized and realized. I mean, you've got Aquarian going on here, and then you've got Leo happening. Aquarian works behind the scenes, but Leo works right out front in the middle, in the spotlight, and both of these two balance each other out because you can see your divine essence behind it all. You can see your divine essence. You just have a lot of worries and fears about actually putting that to the forefront. But know that you're worth it. You are worth it because that's what God has intended you for. That's what divine grace has intended you for. Divine grace has intended you for receiving praise and receiving credit and receiving recognition and receiving love and being realized and having your purpose be realized and famous and legendary and all of that, heroic, even all of that. We tell ourselves, we deny ourselves of those things. We tell ourselves we can't be, or we're not like those people, or we're not this person because we're too busy comparing ourselves to other people and who they are and who they came out to be. That stops us too from being able to blossom and bloom into our divine being into the light, like a flower, unfolding its petals and opening up to the world and saying, here are my colors. Here is my shine. Here is my light. I am opening up myself before you, and receiving praise and love from you, while also giving praise and love to you. Honeybees and butterflies and so many different animals and plants enjoy the flower when it comes into full bloom, when it comes open into full bloom. But when we keep it closed, when we keep the flower closed and concealed, how are they ever supposed to receive of that goodness and that richness and that joy and that love of us if we never have the courage to pluck it, to come open before the world, to show the world our true beauty, our beauty in its wholeness and its fullness. Okay, so confidence in yourself. You're worth it. This whole reading is entirely masculine for you. There's nothing about this reading that is feminine, in the way that, it's an air and fire based reading. Air and fire are masculine energies and entities, and they're both more outwardly expressive, outwardly, creative. And so this whole reading is calling for you to bust open, to bloom, to blossom, like a flower. Here's the middle, and here are your four petals, right? Here are your four petals. And, it's asking you to come up and to blossom open, to come into full bloom, to show yourself and all your beauty that God has manifested you to be into this world. That's what it's asking you to do. And know that you are worth it. You are worth people will be attracted to that. People are going to be attracted to that. You are going to have adversities out there for sure, but and welcome the adversities as well as the love. People are going to be attracted to it, and it's going to attract haters as well as it's going to attract lovers, and that's okay. Ain't no problem with it. All you need to do worry about is being you. That's all you got to worry about. All you got to worry about is doing you, creating you, manifesting you, being you in whatever shape or form that looks like. Don't let doubts, worries, and regrets and stagnating thought forms get in the way of you manifesting, creating, walking your divine. So that's the reading for for this lunar cycle. Okay, keep it secret, keep it safe, keep it close to your heart, but give yourself permission to blossom, give yourself permission to unfold, to show the world who you really are. The world, maybe they don't know you yet, they might not be ready for you yet, Gemini. Give yourself permission to show the world who you are. Come out of the box and say, this is who I am, because that's what the cards are calling for. I look forward. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you so much for being a part of this circle. And I look forward to continuing to walk this path with you as we step into the circle, the cycle of the new moon in Cancer. I got Lenore.